Climate change has been a hotly debated issue for over 50 years, and this time the effects have been assessed on the state level. The Pennsylvania 2015 Climate Impact Assessment Update, led by Penn State University researcher Dr. James Shortle, found that the temperature will increase 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit in 35 years. Increased temperature and rainfall may benefit agriculture and forestry productivity, but it does not come without its dangers.
Some of the areas where I see the biggest risks from climate change are in the area of water quantity, water quality. So climate change will be a challenge for water quality in Pennsylvania because of the effects on the volume of runoff, timing of runoff that lead to a lot of the pollution we have in our streams now. Changes in stream temperatures will be harmful to existing aquatic ecosystems. And then flood risks will probably increase.
And flooding, says Shortle, will mostly affect valleys, and Happy Valley is no exception. Yet even with the amount of conclusive data, Shortle says he receives his fair share of non-believers.
I have had people sending me emails that want to enlighten me about how wrong I am.
Whether you believe in climate change or not, members of the local and global community can do their part to help preserve the environment.
We have increasingly efforts around the university to inform people locally, but well beyond Pennsylvania, about the impacts of climate change. So I think there's a lot going on in terms of the education that we'd like to do in order to address this issue. Just identifying ways in your own life that you can address this issue and your carbon footprint.
Just as Shortle says about the efforts, Penn State students are aware of it too.
Well, we're already doing a lot with like all the different recycling programs that we have and like the eco reps and everything. But I think if we like increase the amount of people who actually like are aware of the type of situation that we're going through, like in regards to the temperature rising and like how we can as a group prevent it, I think like we could make a difference in that aspect.
Reporting in State College, I'm Sophia Weston.
And those price changes will come back and affect our farmers, and that's very important. The same will be true in other sectors, energy, forests.
And then
Not 1990, but
oh,
around
sorry,
1900.
1900, beginning of 1900. That's my bad. And then in 35 years, it'll be 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit hotter. Those numbers don't sound like a lot, but why is there so much focus on it? Why is there panic about those few degrees rising?
Well, because especially the 1 degree Celsius is a significant number, but it's not a scary number. 3 degrees more in 35 years is actually quite a bit of climate change. So it doesn't actually push the state into really scary areas of climate, but it is significantly warmer than we are now. So you would look at climate in Pennsylvania more like you would have in North Carolina or places like that. So we could continue to do many of the things we do now, but there would certainly be challenges to the state and adjustments that would have to be made in a variety of areas. Temperature is part of that. Changes, though, in rainfall would be another part of that, and that's equally important. So it is then, I wouldn't say panic would be the right word, but certainly we need to get ready for the kinds of changes that it would be bringing about. We can all do things individually in our own lives, and our local governments and state governments can do things, our federal government can do things, but ultimately any change in the path of greenhouse gas emissions has got to result from international action. About climate change. One thing you can do, and one thing that I think is very important for local governments, state government to think about, is adaptation to climate change, because it's going to happen one way or another. So there are a variety of things we can do in thinking about how we protect our water resources, protect people from flooding, certain disease risks, developing our agricultural productivity for new environments, forest productivity for new environments. So there's a variety of things that state, local governments can do, and we can anticipate businesses and individuals would do in their own lives. New species of trees, which will be the more prominent varieties in Pennsylvania. When you look at Pennsylvania's land cover, it's about 67% forest. The next big part is ag. Climate change is going to affect both ag and forests, and it's going to change what they look like. So I think just visually our environment will change. The way we feel our environment will change, especially we'll have warmer winters, warmer summers, and it will be rainier at certain parts of the year than it used to be. Warmer, wetter climates can increase our agricultural productivity. If you like European wine varieties, then we could begin growing those types of grapes in Pennsylvania. You were talking about, what happens outside that could be good for us. So if we have a scarcity of agricultural commodities, a reduction in supply relative to demand, we'll have prices go up. That'll be good for Pennsylvania farmers. Forests will become more productive in that it's warmer, wetter will make the forest grow faster. So there are a variety of areas where we can have benefits as well as costs. Wintertime disease related to cold will be diminished. So you can identify, both pros and cons, and adapting to both is what we need to do. Do is figure out how we transform our economies and decarbonize the economies at the same time providing for the economic growth that will provide students like you with jobs and income, and the economy with the resources it needs to be able to deal with things. Realistic climate policy is a difficult thing to figure out because you don't want to kill the economic growth that provides for the health and well-being of people, but you have to figure out how to address the stresses on the environment.